2015 SEC Media Days is officially in the books. Kevin Scarbinsky, Natalie Williams here in Hoover wrapping things up. Today, the announcement of the media's voting for the order of finish was announced. Georgia, no surprise that they're picked to win the East. But then in the West, a little bit of confusion on the media's part. Maybe they didn't understand how the conference works or how things work in college football. But Auburn was actually picked to win the conference.
The overall league championship.
The overall league championship. But Alabama was picked to win the West.
Yeah.
Which means you would have Alabama and Georgia playing, you would think, for the SEC championship game, but somehow Auburn wins it.
Yeah, that can't actually happen, in case anyone's wondering. And we could explain this, Natalie, that it's where you're picked, and Auburn got a lot of lower votes as well. They got more first place votes in the West than Alabama did, but they also had votes to finish 5th, 6th, and 7th in the West. Alabama didn't get as many at the bottom, and this is already making my head hurt.
It does.
But what it tells you is that most people think Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia are the 3 best teams in the league, and I think that's the real takeaway here.
No doubt, and it's not just the media. In our own Birmingham AL.com poll, the sports information directors actually had a split vote as well in the West and for the overall championship, the opposite way.
They had Auburn winning the West and Alabama winning the league, and again, that can't happen.
Yeah, but hey, it makes for interesting storylines as we actually enter the part of the college football calendar where we get to watch college football.
Well, what people want to know is, who did you vote for?
I voted for it. I know AL.com, if you've been following our rankings, I know I had Auburn voted as the #1 in the league, but I actually have Alabama winning the West.
So you changed your mind?
I did.
From your earlier prediction?
Did
you like Kenyon Drake's suit? What was it that influenced you to flip-flop this time?
Just as things continued to go, I mean, I felt good going into the spring games and everything about Auburn's offensive line and some of the questions that they had on the line of scrimmage. Obviously, Auburn lost some depth in the secondary since I made those predictions. So I think it's the combination of there are a lot of things that have to come together. Jeremy Johnson can be a great quarterback, I believe, for Auburn, and I think he's going to be a really great quarterback. But they have a lot of talent on the offensive line. There's a lot of chemistry that they have to have come together. So at the beginning of the season, when you've got big games, when you open your season with the Louisville, that's cause for concern, even though I believe that Alabama does have the tougher schedule.
And see, now you're supposed to ask me who I picked, and this is where I tell you I never vote in this poll. Because I don't want to be associated with all these knuckleheads who can't figure out that you can't have a different division winner and a champion of the overall league. However, if I were to vote, if I were to decide right now, in July, before we get to fall camp, I would pick Auburn.
You'd pick Auburn?
Yes.
Why?
2 words, Jeremy Johnson. Auburn has him, Alabama doesn't. It's that close. Plus, the Iron Bowl is in Jordan-Hare Stadium. I kind of remember what happened the last time they went down there.
And I know you wrote a previous column about Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. The 3, if those 3 aren't represented somehow in Atlanta for the SEC championship game, something has gone terribly wrong.
We get a rematch.
Yeah, so do you still sticking with the fact that Georgia is also there?
I still like the Bulldogs, yes.
Okay.
Unless Mark Richt finds a way to mess it up.
You don't have like Missouri playing for the SEC championship or winning the SEC championship and
3 in a row?
Yeah.
No, I think the last school that did that from the East was Florida under Steve Spurrier and the Fun and Gun. That ain't happening.
Well, as much fun as it is to rank teams and rank players and we are getting to the part where football actually begins. We're going to call it a day, call it a week here from SEC Media Days in Hoover. For Kevin Scarbinsky, I'm Natalie Williams. We'll see you when football begins in September.